hey, welcome back to A Good Things Marriage Chats. I'm Tiara.
And I am Adrian. Welcome back
y'all.
to the Marriage Chats room. Hey guys, we're going to just jump right into everything because we want to respect time and we want to get to talking about misty stuff, okay? So before, we want you to push the buttons, push all the buttons that's right here and do stuff. And it's that for me.
Let's give a little mini disclaimer before the audience.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Don't get your kids out this room because we gonna be misty today. Okay. Y'all know it's our good sis. We love her. It's Miss Aleisha Olatunde.
Hello. Oh, that was
Aleisha.
a real passionate. You said my name passionately.
It's the thing. I don't know if that's how y'all sound, but I may or may not.
Period.
Don't she look pretty in her red, y'all?
Yes.
I told her that red really bring out her skin.
Thank you.
Yes, it does. It makes you glow. So what's the nasty stuff that we're going to be talking about today that's going to make me blush and probably cry a little bit because I'm just embarrassed?
Which is appropriate for passion. The red is appropriate for passion. So.
It is.
Y'all know I love a good double entendre, if you will.
Uh-huh.
Talking about that big hey, did you know big
right?
And that there are around 20 ways that you can orgasm.
That was one of my questions.
Yes,
I did not know it was that many.
Yes,
20.
Yeah.
Well, let's get the list going. I'm gonna take notes. Y'all might hear me click clacking. I'm a mute or something, but I'm gonna just move this right on over here to the side and get my notes together for when we do our P and our V days and the day of exploration.
Mm-hmm.
I want to explore. Mom, Dad, go away,
please.
Right, but send it to your friends.
Okay.
But please, you don't watch it.
Correct. Okay, so yes, and there is like some debate, right? Like, and depending on like what circles you're running in, the scientific evidence that you do or don't believe. I could go there, but I'm not. That's not what we're here to talk about.
There's evidence out there that doesn't believe about people having orgasms.
No. Just about like what they would consider one.
Oh, okay.
Yes, not like the other men in them places that we ain't talking about.
Uh-huh.
So they're like, in terms of like, on average, maybe like 18 to 20-ish, right? Depending on what we're talking about for the types of orgasm. And so if I just name them off quickly, and then we can kind of like dive into some of them. So you have anal, clitoral, vaginal, cervical, the G spot, the U spot, the A spot, the P spot, the prostate. So P spot and prostate are different.
Mm-hmm.
Breath orgasm, squirting, nipplegasms, frenulum, sleepgasms, orgasms, skingasms, blended orgasms, kissgasms, fantasy, and imagery-induced orgasm.
Wow.
I stopped at squirt. I was like, G-U-A-P, prostate breath, squirt.
Yeah. And then there is and like I love to give credit where credit is due. And I'm sure I have said many times over before, she is very much so your favorite sex educator's favorite sex educator. Okay. Miss Goody Howard. She was even talking about this idea of birthgasms. So that's why I said at the beginning, depending on your lens or like whatever ideology that you could or could not subscribe to, there still are a lot of other things that are out there.
Yeah.
I've heard of birthgasms before. I don't remember where I heard, like, I know it was some kind of documentary or something that I was watching. And I remember this couple being like, they would which I don't know. Their sex is their sex. But when the woman was in labor,
Uh-huh.
her husband would be intimate with her while she was in labor to cause an orgasm, which I don't think he had to do all that, but to cause an orgasm to make, I guess, the birthing process more tolerable, I guess.
So that's, to me, I would say that that's a little bit different, right? So in the idea of you get the baby out the same way that you put the baby there, I would
Hmm.
probably lend that more toward that than actually what Goody Howard talks about birthgasm actually is. So
Mm,
very much so helpful during the process as long as the water is not broken. Let me make
mm,
that caveat. Now, I am not a medical professional. However, there obviously, as I allow myself to be more educated about this, right? If their bag of waters has popped, don't put nothing in there, no finger, no,
good,
don't put
Right.
that
good.
in there. But if that bag of waters is not popped, get that baby on out here by any means necessary.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So when she talks about this idea of birthgasm, um, when we're talking about this idea, and actually let me do this because I cannot articulate it in the way any better than how she already did. And
Mhm,
so she was talking about this idea of so in the practice of Kama Sutra, it's like a praise and a worship, and it shows you like different books, or different positions and stuff, for like orgasm and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so within that framework, the Kama Sutra is considered like a holy text. And so
mm,
it's this idea of like orgasm gets you closer to God. And so when you're thinking about, now when I'm giving birth, I'm as close to God as I can possibly get. Because
yeah,
like that is scientifically proven. Like that is one of the closest ways
mm,
a woman can be to death is by giving
yeah,
birth, right?
yeah,
And so, in practice and in theory, because those positions help you get into that orgasmic space, her wording was the energy then blesses that infant, and then the
oh,
connection of the orgasm to birth is as close as that you can get to God. And it's a sacred and spiritual and powerful moment. And so that solidifies um, that sense of connectivity of sex and power and all of that. And so um, from her perspective, that is birthgasm. And I was like, whoa,
I don't know why I just got chills from that. That sounds like that.
right?
That's
That's
beautiful.
why I was like, I
yeah,
cannot articulate well. Like I
yeah,
literally need to tell you what she said, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Right.
it makes me think of our rabbi, Dr. Connie.
Hmm.
She has spoken about like orgasms and how the energy
Hmm.
that is created in an orgasm is so strong that you could use that energy to send,
Yes.
like, in a meditative state, send it to someone that is in need of healing
Yeah.
or in need of just
Hmm.
something to just take the weight off. But she was saying just that energy is so strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that because it is the closest, you know, thing to God,
Feeling
like
Yeah.
that
just
the ex
feeling that, yeah,
feeling.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
what they call utopia. I mean, is it utopia? What is it called?
euphoria.
Euphoria. Thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah, just that experience of it, a taste of what it would be like when we leave up out of here.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, so you got all of these letters and words and stuff of ways to hit the big O.
Yes.
So, what is a G, a U, a A, and a P?
Uh-huh. Okay. So G spot is one that is known, it's one of the more popular ones. So it's actually
Hmm.
Grafenberg is what the G stands for. And so
Hmm.
it's 2 inches inside of the vaginal canal. And it's said to be where the clitoris, the vagina, and the urethra all intersect at
Hmm.
that point. And so it's a little spongy area. And so when you're thinking about like that come hither motion, that's the G spot, the one that's just 2 inches. Not to be confused with the A spot, because the A spot is also along that same front vaginal wall, It's the anterior fornix. That is what the A is stands for, right? And so it's the sensitive area at the end of the vaginal canal between the cervix and the bladder. And so again, when you're thinking about that front wall, 2 to 3 inches deeper than the actual G spot. And stimulating that is when we're talking about the A spot. Okay. When we're talking about the U spot, so now externally, right? And so now y'all know I always got her sitting over here.
Come on, model. Come on.
No,
She's
a
lovely. Vanna. We gonna name her Vanna.
oh, this one doesn't this is not as good of a well, imagery wise. So this is the clitoral hood, right? This is the clitoris. And so essentially in here, right? Where the P come out. So the U spot is close to the urethra. And so moving the finger, and there you have to be very, very gentle with this, right? You don't need an extreme amount of pressure. And as I say time and time again, lube is your friend. Wetter is better. Okay. Don't nobody want no dry, crusty finger. And it needs to be clean too.
Right, and manicured.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello. Let's take care of it. All right. We're yeah, there can be pleasure and pain, but that pain we need it to be the right kind. Okay.
Yeah.
And so gently moving around the clitoral shaft or the clitoral hood, that is when we're talking about the U spot. And I like, if you can see, I'm not putting a lot of pressure here. It can be very, very light. When we're talking about the P spot, again, not to be confused with the prostate. So the P spot is when we're talking about the perineum or gooch or taint. Because again, there's lots of nerve endings, and with that one, you can play with pressure, like the amount of pressure that you have. Again, lube. I also have a conversation if we're talking about from for anybody who got a penis. Everybody not necessarily comfortable, and that could immediately end your sexual exploration
Yeah.
without having a conversation about it first. Okay. So yeah. What other ones y'all want to know about? Because you just didn't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say squirting. We want to squirt like a water squirter gun thing.
Crying. Okay, so the idea of squirting itself, number one, you need to be hydrated. Now, can everybody squirt? Jury's kind of out on that, right? Um, More oftentimes than not, when it comes to when people who have achieved the ability to squirt, it's the comfortability with their partner. It's honestly like the biggest thing that I've ever seen or heard from a client. Okay. The level of comfort and how much you are able to be present in that experience. That's what really lends itself, because you are present and because you're locked in, you are then relaxed. Okay. And so it's about tens to hundreds of milliliters. So it's still a very small amount of clear fluid that does come through the urethra. And so people will say, but is it pee? Well, again, jury's out on that. Because, I mean, of course, if it is coming out of the urethra, there would be trace amounts of that pee, right? However, there is also trace amounts of what is the word I'm trying to say? Secretions that are not the composition of what urine is only made from, which lets us know that there are other things that are combined with that. Now, squirting is different than a female ejaculation.
Wait, what? So okay.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So when it comes to female ejaculation, so squirting is more clear and watery, where female ejaculate is more milky. It's also much less in terms of like milliliters. So like when we're talking about like tens or hundreds of milliliters in that, like we're talking maybe like 1 to 5, right? in terms of milliliters. The other thing about this is, so it's produced in the Skene's glands, and so that's specific to vulva and vaginal folks, and then it does also exit through the urethra. So again, when we're talking about there are other secretions that do also play a part in this, it's not just one thing. But as more research is done, there's more differentiation. Now, the other part of that is because there's not a lot of research that's taken into account when it comes to the female anatomy and sexual physiology, there's a lot that we still don't know.
Yeah.
And so it's through research, through participants who are willing, because it still can be very taboo for people. It still can be very uncomfortable for people. And also given that like Black and brown people aren't necessarily included in the research, and we understand why. Understand why, because again, the mistrust of the healthcare industry and all of the things. And so, you know, if we get to a point where we can get the world, and I won't even say the world, research specifically within like America, right? Because when we're talking about other societies and cultures who there are, when you think about matriarchal societies, right, where women are worshipped, and the idea of pleasure and making sure that there is that sense of leaning into that and prioritizing that from a maternal or matriarchal society, their shifts and their perspectives on sex and pleasure and orgasm are very different from when you are in a patriarchal society. And that is what it is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know if you would notice or not, but that just made me think about, or do you think, or have you seen anything in regards to when it comes to cultural wise, are more brown people, do they have more trauma when it comes to sex?
I haven't looked into that type of research as of late. I in the same way, and I would infer, right? And again, this is my specific inference, right?
Yeah.
The over sexualization of us could potentially lend itself to that. I can't definitively say, but I could see how it could potentially lend itself to that. Just because even, and again, like while a lot of people don't want to acknowledge where the roots of all of these things come from, that is a part of it. What are those things and behaviors and traits that have been ingrained? And even, as we see, Black and brown people are not afforded the same, how do I say this nicely? The best way that I can say it is because we are made to be adults faster.
Yeah.
We're not seen as even most recently in the news when it's just like, oh, this young Republican chat. No, these are old, these grown folk. We're just not seen in the same way. And so whether that be traumatic things that happen within families or outside, right? Does mental health play a factor into that? What are the context or societal types of things that are impacted in that? I could see how that could be a true statistic, but in terms of like how I laid eyes on actual research, no.
Yeah.
But I could see that.
Yeah. I was just thinking about what you said, because I know, and this is not the only topic, there's several topics where you hear people say like, that's some white people stuff or stuff like that, instead of just being open. I mean, I think in general, a lot of us Black or brown people are just not open to certain things when it comes to food, when it comes to sex exploration, when it comes to a lot of stuff. We dang on vegetables. We're not even open to
vegetables, nuts, but also yes.
Definitely.
But again, but what did I just say? When you're thinking about context and what are we surrounded with? A lot of our Black and brown people are living in food deserts, and so what is actually accessible to them?
Yeah.
What is the information that is accessible to you? Even if you attempt to I decided to breastfeed. My mom didn't breastfeed me, and so like even if something like that, why would you want to do that? Or the flip side of that is some people cannot because they have to go back to work in 6 weeks. And so it's not just a one thing, right? So if our parents and our grandparents and so on and so forth were not even aware of these types of things, no matter what topic that we're talking about, of course they're going to look at you like you're a little bit weird because what are you doing? That's not what we do.
Yeah. And that was definitely I nursed my 9-year-old. I nursed her for 2 years, and people would be like, "Get that big old baby off here," and I'm like,
but other countries, that's the norm.
Yeah, it's not sexualized. I just want to make sure my baby is good. I want to make sure she's fed. It wasn't that she wasn't eating other food, but I wanted to make sure she got as much nutrient in her system that she possibly can get her first few years of life. The same with my second baby. I was able to nurse her for 18 months, but it was the same thing. It was the same thing. So that definitely, everything you just said definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
So on to or go ahead, Twee. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Well, I was gonna say, so with all of the listings that you gave on the types, are most of those lended towards the woman, if I heard right?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And so when we're talking about anal, and again, we're not talking about comfort. We just talking about what can happen, okay? As y'all have heard me say, and if y'all ain't never been to one of their retreats, y'all missing out on something good. I'm a plug y'all, okay? Praise God. I'm just period. Do what you got the faith for, but I just presented the information, okay? I ain't tell you to do it. I'm just telling you what you could do if you open up your mind. So when we're
talking, got a new car out of your teachings. Almost got a new car.
Ooh, we got to have a conversation of that offline. You ain't told me that. Why you ain't text me?
Wives got the testimony in the wife group chat to let everybody know about these flowers she had got after she got kind of worked some of the tricks that she learned.
First of all, why you ain't told me? We gonna catch up offline. That's besides the point. Okay, so when we're talking about the list, anal, P spots, breath orgasm, that can be anybody. Nipplegasm can be anybody. It's just, again, when we're talking about masculinity and femininity. Ooh, that tripped over that, didn't I? It's not seen as a masculine, as if they don't have nipples that be out all the time. Right. Sleepgasms, and so that is essentially like, think about like a wet dream. Yeah, like anybody that can happen for anybody. Coregasms are more so lended towards women. Skingasms, anybody can experience that. I mean, what research shows is commonly it can be through music, but it's like that tingle through the limbs. Now the thing about it is or like it's about the emotional connectivity to what's happening, not just like, oh, I gotta chill because I'm cold. Like, no, that's not what we're talking about. But it's also so the French word for it is frisson, frisson. That's what it is called. But like when you think about like how emotionally evocative movies or art, or like even how you can be connected to a person, that's what we're talking about. Okay. Blended orgasms anybody can have, and that's literally multiple orgasms happening at the exact same time. So whether that be let's see, for a man it could be nipplegasm combined with prostate or frenulum, or like that's blended when you just have
multiple. I didn't even know there was a such thing.
Yeah. Well, you know how some people be like, because my nipples, that's my spot. I wonder if that's
because all of the nerve endings. Now it can't, like, especially for women who breastfeed, you can lose some of that. Or I've also seen where like there's a heightened sensitivity because of that too. Anybody can have if you can have kisses by orgasm, I mean, if you can have orgasms by kissing. I don't know why my words are just keep. But there are people who can have orgasm by kissing. And then fantasy. So the difference between fantasy orgasms with fantasy and imagery induced orgasms is fantasy is triggered by the mental, but is combined with touch. Whereas imagery induced is I can think of something and get mental imagery and then orgasm. So the touch is
so that's what I'm saying by the blended, not necessarily that you're having like a trigger of orgasm in two areas. It's just like a combined, I'm touching here and there, so they're kind of interacting together to
yeah. Think of it like an earthquake and the aftershock, and it's just
Now, so I know we were talking about, well, we just were kind of like mentioning and passing like Sister Perry and her menopause that's trying to trail behind us. So being women that are experiencing perimenopause or menopause, can that affect how they experience an orgasm? Can it affect them even having an orgasm at all? Like, does it stop everything? Does it make it better? Is this your time to shine, girl?
It depends, honestly, right? And so, so what's actually happening with menopause, right? What is happening?
Yeah, that's Sister Perry trying to. She be jacking it up too.
Hormone. Cause like, why is this happening today? Anyway, so when we're talking about all of those hormones that first ramped up when we entered into puberty, right? All of those things are now recessing, and so it affects. And I've been digging deeper into this, but like the drop in estrogen can also affect like your ligaments. That's why you'll hear about like frozen shoulder and all of those different types of things. And so can it? Yes, right? Because we're talking about a decrease in elasticity when we're talking about the skin of the vagina. I'm crying, not the thumbs up.
I didn't even know I did that.
Right.
It was like dancing over here on the side. Boo. Thank you. Put the thumbs down. Especially when I'm talking about vaginal atrophy. We don't want the thumbs.
Right. That was like thumbs up.
Right. So a loss of elasticity and all of those types of things. And so again, even more so, why being gentle with touch and lubrication, especially in this phase of life, is even more imperative. There are people who have a decrease in desire, but are there things that you can do to help? Yes, by exploring different types of orgasm, different types of touch. What worked before at your peak levels is just not going to work now, and kind of like coming to terms with that, grieving that if you have to, and then finding what worked in the body that you have now. For people who are more into like homeopathic types of things, right? Like the emergence of like allegedly. Now again, I'm not a medical professional, so I cannot proclaim these things to be true. Okay. You're not gonna connect that to me. But people talk about like okra water and those types of things. There's a company called O Positive, who has like vaginal moisture capsules, vaginal probiotics, and all of those types of things that can also help. And then more, again, as we're doing more research, when we're talking about HRT, hormone replacement therapies, and those types of things to help mitigate some of the effects that menopause has on our bodies in order for us to still, embrace who we are as sexual beings.
Okay, so I got two questions. Yep. My first question is, what's your thoughts or opinion in regards to HRT? Because, while it seems very helpful, for someone who's, obviously you're going to go through this change because of what's going on. Like, one of my thoughts was like, okay, well, is my body now going to become dependent on this? Is that going to hinder me later? Because I've seen some things too, we're talking about the risk, but it seemed like the risk is more associated with like overuse.
Correct.
But yeah, so what's your thoughts about, even doing the hormone therapy, just in your own personal?
Yeah. And again, like I'm very much on like the tip of the iceberg of really diving into this because one, I'm entering into the even at 37, my God, entering into this phase. But also to be able to help clients, with this phase of their lives. Based on what I have seen thus far, I'm a proponent for it, right? Whether that be like your estradals, or your Premarin. Now, Premarin is expensive as all get out, even with insurance. But like those are your like your creams that you insert. And from what I am seeing is it's the reason why you're either given the cream or the patch, like it's different functionalities. So your creams are more so when we're talking about like vaginal atrophy, lubrication, all those types of things, whereas the patches are also like there can be some crossover, but more so like your hot flashes and all that, like that side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I am a proponent for it. I know, again, a lot of historically there's been a lot of like downplaying of it, because it was a previous link to like was it ovarian cancer or I can't remember which, if it was, I don't think it was breast cancer, but like one of the cancers. But again, looking into that, like the overuse of it, right? And so what does it mean when you have a low dose or like a 1 milliliter tube of the cream that you do at night, and those implications? But like I said, by everything that I have seen thus far, yeah.
So my second question was this again about the transition. I'm wondering what happens, and you may or may not know this question, but I'm just wondering what happens where you go through this period, you go through the menopause. Now these things are changing. You might have less desire, whatever. What's happening where these seniors are now at a point to where they just like something has to. It's almost like it's a down, but then somewhere along the line it like shooting up. And
Yeah. Baby, because at one point in time, some of the highest STD and STI rates were in nursing homes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, so that's why when I first heard it, I was so shocked because I'm like, how? I thought at this point they trying to get it up. They trying to stay wet. They trying to the desire ain't there. All these things, but they in here getting it in.
Yeah, it really is from person to person type of basis.
Okay.
I saw it was a podcast with Cree Summer. What's the other actress?
Was it the Living Single?
Yes. Yeah.
Reliving Single. Yeah, I was watching that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they were talking about, Cree Summer was talking about how, because at this point, right, menopause was so much about I cannot control anything that's happening to me. Right. And it was a level of acceptance that she had within her body, and the level, it's like she breastfed 2 babies and all of these different things. And there was a level of acceptance that she just had within herself. And that was the thing that then propelled her to have some of the best sex of her life. Right. I would assume, okay, one, if they in the home, they might be bored.
Definitely.
Right. Like they attraction to people don't go away.
Yeah.
Right. Just because you hit menopause or andropause, which is
I just learned about that one.
Yeah. Andropause. So it's essentially like the male menopause.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just because you hit that doesn't mean, now maybe is it not as stiff? Maybe. But that doesn't mean that they lose all desire, that they lose all functionality just because you are older. As long as you are healthy, and that is also why it is as it is of benefit for everyone, but especially for women, to incorporate like that 30 minutes of like lifting and all of that other stuff to help compensate for when you get into those older ages and when you're entering into menopause and when you're in perimenopause and menopause, to be able to help as all of the hormonal fluctuations and decreases are happening.
Yeah. So let's talk about, as you were just saying, it just made me think about what are some of the benefits of having an orgasm, because I want to talk about that because I do think there's still, probably not a lot of people, but there are some people that, you know, make it seem like the sex is overrated. And, you know, one might say, but maybe because they haven't really had great sex or not experienced. Yeah. But, you know, I think there's some spiritual as well as physical, emotional, you know, benefits to actually exploring. And so I want to motivate someone who may be listening to, like, you know what? I only had 2 orgasms. It wasn't all that. It ain't no big deal. You know, but I want to encourage somebody like, no, you know, you deserve to have an orgasm, and want them to know what some of the benefits of that might look like.
Wasn't there a study that just came out this week or over the last couple weeks that was talking about women that masturbate 3 to 4 times a week is like their stress level or cortisol level or something like that,
I see that
decreases, like, and it was some study that came out. It was that study and then the whole study about like the women's eggs and going into menopause and things like that. It was a lot of women's studies are happening lately, and I'm enjoying
how the eggs aren't the culprit, but it's actually the semen shelf life that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's not what we're here to talk about. So what you just not what we're talking about. What you just said is the benefit of orgasm. Okay. So yes, reduce stress and anxiety, right? All of the cortisol that ends up getting built up because of, and it doesn't even have to be with our partners. It could be work, it could be kids, it could be whatever. You know, as people are getting older, being caretakers and all of those types of things, the cortisol just builds up, and too much of it does indeed cause health risk and implications. And I was even seeing about, like, you know, because when people are holding on or suppressing or doing all of these things, that's how you then can move into having autoimmune issues and all of these things, because you have suppressed and built up and all of these things, right? And so because orgasm does help produce the anxiety and promote relaxation, that helps with all of that and decreasing the cortisol because of oxytocin and dopamine. Okay. Because that's what's released and that's what helps actually lower the cortisol levels. Okay. But it also, like, it just boosts your mood. Like, you just be a much more pleasant person. Okay. Like, I make this joke, if the bowels is empty and the belly is full, he all right.
I don't know how many times you see somebody in the show like, oh girl, you glowing. Your energy is different today. You is glowing. You must have got some.
Right.
I mean, she might have on some highlight too, like I do right now. Because do you see it? Do you see it? But
Come
also,
through.
yes, my girl might have just had her back crack last night,
right?
Or this morning, or like 5 seconds ago. Like, who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, like that, we're talking about the idea of dopamine, right? And allowing it to counteract like irritability or depression or all of these different types of things. I was joking around with one of my colleagues, and she was like, why does a lot of this sound like what antidepressants do? I said, yeah.
Well, dang.
Now, that is not me saying if you have been diagnosed with clinical depression, what is happening? If you've been diagnosed with clinical depression, I'm not telling you get off your SSRIs or that's not what I said.
Right.
That's not what I said. Okay. I just don't want there to be no confusion. Okay.
Right.
It can be an improvement in how you're sleeping. Right.
No, you're gonna wait.
Oh, I'll edit that part out.
I'm crying. I was like, wait, what?
Roxanne, my niece dog, she's over there probably bullying Tui.
Oh, baby.
My niece pup.
Okay. Okay. It improves your sleep.
That's what I'm saying.
The increased self-confidence, right? Like the taking control of your own, like you were just talking about, whether this is masturbation or partnered pleasure, that control, right? Of, oh, I initiated, and he's still in the bed sleep. What's up? That self-confidence, right? having less, and it's, especially as we're in this conversation of how our bodies are changing, and breasts may be sagging or whatever else, and just really owning and not carrying the shame associated with body image issues or changes. Like, it can help with that increase in self-confidence, and that's for men too. Them testicles start to drop, they get a little long. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking at y'all. Listen, man, it's okay. Y'all change too.
Yeah, we could just lift them up.
High and lift it up for all the world to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
But even in the sense of, like, when we're talking about like bonding and the closeness that you feel, that it leads to improved relationships. It leads to maybe forgiving or overlooking the fact that they left the cabin open, or didn't take trash out. Like, I can't even see all that. I'm in the orgasmic glow.
Yep.
But so, like, if we're talking about other like practical things, like, because of the release of endorphins, so like some senses of pain relief, improve heart health, improved immune system, a stronger pelvic floor, skin. I'm not saying that you need to do a facial. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there are components within the ejaculate that help with the skin. But also,
could be a mask.
Do what you got to say for. Okay. But too, because when we're just talking about like the increased blood flow. So yes. Those are some benefits.
I got one more question.
Okay.
And this is a definitely do what you have the faith for. Okay. Since we talked about the face mask, it made me think about swallowing.
Okay.
Because Adrain and I, we were just talking about last week. We had a conversation with someone in our group who was talking about there are people sometimes, I guess, in certain situations where they have to pull out. Or I didn't know that it was like a thing where you can have the male sperm throwing off the pH balance and stuff, like different things you gotta like figure out, work around, whatever. So talk about this whole pulling out thing. And so when we start talking about like what's actually in the semen that could throw off the pH balance, I'm like, well, how does that work for somebody who swallows? Like, what's that doing in the mouth? What does that do? When somebody decides to swallow, like, that's where my head went. I'm like,
you know what?
Oh, shoot. pH, then
I have never thought about it in that way, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. I've never thought about that. Listen, I always keep my resources real close to me. So when we're listen, because I don't pretend, y'all see that I'm tripping over my words, right? And so I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I always remember all the things all the time.
Girl, no. Of course not.
No. And so when we're talking about, hopefully I can find it quickly.
Okay.
The composition of sperm, because there's zinc, there is sugar, there is is this it? Nope, that's anal sex. Let's go back. That's not what we're talking about right now. See, that's what be happening when that penis slip back there.
Hey, look, like on, what was it? Don't be in my wrong whole food.
Right. That is hilarious. Very funny. Oh, where is it? Oh, yeah, I'm in the wrong section.
Looking up to see what was all in there. So I'm glad we're talking about this.
Yes. Okay. So we're talking about glucose, fructose, water, ascorbic acid, enzymes, zinc, copper, calcium, magnesium, cholesterol, sodium, potassium, B12.
That sounds like a multivitamin. That sounds like a Centrum. That sounds like.
Wow.
An average, right? Average amount of ejaculate is like 3.4 milliliters.
Wow.
Now, here's the thing. If they're very well hydrated, like that can affect, of course, like, if they have a better diet,
Right.
that can affect. And then, because, you hear everything about asparagus and all that type of stuff. So, but yes, that is what semen is comprised of.
Wow.
So I would think because of all of those things, supplements, I don't know,
Supplements is crazy.
Right? Because all that list of things
Right.
is the makeup of it. I would think that, I mean, maybe it could be nutrition. I don't know. But then I also be thinking like the stomach be having acid and it could destroy some stuff. So
Correct.
it might be just like a multivitamin. Like you take a multivitamin, you don't really get all of the vitamins all the time that's in that multivitamin. You might pee or poop it out, or it might just get absorbed somewhere else. But it makes me think that that could be what happens if you were to swallow. I mean, you ain't supposed to put nothing up in your vagina. So, I mean, I could see how that could make you itch. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I've never been asked a question in that way. Like this
It
is the
just came
first.
because I had never. I mean, I hadn't. Of course, I'm not in this field, and I'm not talking to people regularly about sex. But when I heard, I'm just like, wait, you got to pull out. Wait, you got to worry about your pH being thrown off. Wait, that many things could happen just by ejaculation being like. But
Well,
wait.
and so like when we're talking about it, right? So the vagina is acidic, right? And so semen is slightly alkaline, right? And so when we're talking about, and I was just looking up the ranges, right? So average acidity of the pH of the vagina is 3.8 to 4.5. And then where you have semen slightly alkaline, which is a pH of 7.2 to 8.0, right? And so because it is alkaline, that allows the sperm to survive passing through the acidic environment. Since the vagina is essentially like neutralizing the threat, aka the sperm. Right. And so, but because there is the disruption of the microbiome of the vagina, right, and because it is a very delicate balance, like that's where you start to have the pH issues. Like if and it's another one of those things where like men oftentimes don't know that they have yeast infections, but we do. Or you aren't as clean as you possibly could be, and so then there's bacteria that then enters into the vagina, and then it's a breeding ground for those things because of that delicate balance. But when we're talking about from the top down and not the bottom up, I feel like I have a research point at this time. I don't have an answer for that one. I don't know the last time. I'm about to write this down.
Well, I mean, you taught me something today. Because I didn't know that it was a multivitamin. I didn't know. I mean, plus glucose and fructose and whatever the toast you said.
I said, "Ooh, that sounds like a box of cereal ingredient." Like on the bottom, they like it's glucose and fructose and this other toast.
I'm crying.
Box of cereal.
This is interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna have to come back to this.
Yeah, because I don't know.
We're gonna have to do a 2.0. But I love that.
I am like perplexed.
Yes. I almost forgot we was recording.
I'm crying. And here's the thing, right?
Conversation.
And let me make sure I say this too. Like this is like less than 1%. So it's not like I don't want nobody to go from here and be like, oh, I swallow, so I have nutrition. No. It's nominal amounts. Okay.
You're right.
Like it's not going to affect anything, right? And like, you don't risk pregnancy, right? And you don't risk throwing off your vaginal microbiome.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
I'll see if there's any research out there.
Yeah. Well, look, with that, y'all make sure you keep your pH balanced and you stay hydrated and you make sure that you do what you got the faith for.
And drink your water.
And drink your H2O.
Mind the business that pays you.
Yes.
And we really need to be mindful of like our diets. Like, I don't think people realize like how much the diet affects like all of these things, the strength, the energy, how clean you are, and you know, all the things. And I think our generation is getting better about that. Our parents. Because I actually heard this lady in the grocery store yesterday with her grandchild. I'm going to add this one more thing. Now be quiet. I heard this grandmother with her grandchild in the store yesterday. And she was like, now look, I know your mama be buying all that healthy stuff. I ain't getting all that. I don't eat like that. That's good for y'all. But I'm just like, And I'm like, you know what? We have come a long way. We get better.
We have.
We get
better. We have. Because if you don't snack on these grapes and these clementines that I got you, and these strawberries and this pineapple and this mango, and this dried
natural sugar,
apricots and stuff. If you don't eat this stuff, because it's good. It's good and it's cute. It's healthy. It don't have you out here breaking out, I guess.
Right.
But no, today really was good, and I would like for us to do a 2.0 soon.
Yeah.
I don't have
nothing else.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's something when you don't know how to close out the video. It's just like,
go have the orgasm you deserve.
Yes. You can add that with your keep your pH balance, drink your water, mind the business that pays for you, do what you have the faith for, and make sure that you keep that toy charged just in case, you know, he ain't acting right. You get your 3 to 4 per week.
Because you have low cortisol levels.
You do.
Hey yo. Hey yo.
Y'all, Aleisha is a resource. So here in the state of Missouri and Kansas, right?
Yes.
So for Missouri and Kansas, if you guys are looking for, you do family therapy and no family. Oh, sorry, I lied. She helps people.
Couples
her
and
contact
individuals.
information. Yes. We'll put her contact information all in the bottom like we always do, because we want you to support our good sis Aleisha. She has helped us. She has helped a lot of our couples, because we're gonna tell you about that when we get on up off here.
Yeah.
And we want her to help y'all too. We want don't can you hear me?
I heard we can. Okay. I was like, wait, is it
my
me?
phone calling somebody. Hold on now. Not is doing this. Who is it calling?
Well, we hear you.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know what's going on. But what was I saying? Yeah, I don't know. I'm so flabbergasted. My gases are flabbered. I don't know. Tweaky, close us out. I don't know what to say, because I'm looking at all the
process. Go ahead with the slogan, Drew. Y'all, we gonna be back for part 2. We gonna have Aleisha have time for her research, and then we gonna come back and hash this out a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, what's the song? Oh, don't forget, a good thing is not hard to find,
but it takes work to keep it.
Go have some sex, y'all. Go have some sex. I think I might have some this afternoon. Because my mind is messed up. So. All right, y'all. Bye.